everybody. Happy Wednesday. So it's Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. So how many people are going to remember that we changed the day? Hopefully you will. And people can come and join me. It takes a little bit for people to find the little notifications and stuff. So if you have trouble on Facebook finding me, make sure you go to Sew Along with Jan, the group, and then just refresh your screen, like hit the refresh button, or like on my tablet, I have to pull down. So make sure you're doing that. That helps to find the live. It takes a minute for it to come through. So hello. Hi, Colleen. Who else is here? Lynn's here. Denise is here. Teresa's here. Cool. So people are finding us. Some people remembered. Yay. Yeah, it's a happy Wednesday, isn't it? It's so weird to come home, but I think I'm going to like it. It's just going to take me a little bit of getting used to. We haven't done this. We used to do some Zoom stuff on in the evenings, like at 7. Lynn and I were doing some Zoom classes during COVID, but so I think it'll be fine. I get home in time. I get home about 6, so a few minutes before 6. So how's everybody else? Hi, I'm here too. Hi, Jackie. Maureen. Oh, Jane's here. Hi, Cindy. Oh, Cindy's here. I'm seeing who all's here. Here's Orlin and Kathy coming. Awesome. So anyway, we're gonna have a little fun tonight, and we're gonna do another Kimberbell Cutie. So tonight we're actually gonna do this one. This is the September one. Oops, second here. I got a long thread. There we go. So we're gonna do the September one. We're gonna start working on this one tonight, and it's the one with the little owls. Okay, and I have to say, next week when we do the embroidery, the owls do take a little while. They have a lot of appliques. I think there's 5 layers of applique. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 layers of applique on the little owl. So it does take a little while to do those, but they turn out really cute. So, but we're going to do that one tonight. And then I've been busy working on the next month's. Have I shown you October? Let me go grab October. I think I left it laying over here. I think I forgot to show you October. I think I've shown it to you. Yep. So this one is October. So we'll do this next month. In September, we'll do the little witches' hats. Okay. Like this one. This one's cute. And I have stripes on the back. Black and orange stripes in the back. I thought that one turned out cute. And then I got the November and December's done. So I've got all of them done now. So here's November's. I got them all. I did the events the other day. Second here. So here's November. November's the pumpkins. So here's the little pumpkins. I thought they turned out really cute. And then I did like a little jute twine, little jute twine on the pumpkin, little bow. I thought that turned out really cute. So that's a nice one. So that one we'll do in September. Or no, this one we'll do in October. I'm sorry, this is the November one. So we'll do it in October. Okay. Now, January's we'll do in December. So I have that one done, but I haven't put the event up yet. But then this is December. So here's the December one, which we'll do in November. So this is the one with the little wreaths on it. So I got the bows on last night. Let me get this a little closer so you can see one of the wreaths. I got the little bows on last night and the little rhinestones for the little berries. So this one is December. So I've been working on these. I got these. I like the backing on this. Wasn't that pretty with the poinsettias on it? And then the January one we will do in December. And that's the one with the little snowman that I'm playing around with, a design that I'm going to give everybody for the snowman, because I didn't like the way the snowman was done. So we're going to do it differently, and I'll give everybody a little design. I'm digitizing a little design to put in the corner. So, okay. So those are our table toppers so far. We're making progress here. So I was happy to get the other ones done this week. That's what I've been working on since I had a little break. I've been working on those. We'll lay those up here. So I've been working on those the last week or so while we had a little break. And then, and then we're going to have our drawing at the end of class. So remember, you get entered in the drawing at the end of the class by making a comment. Okay. So what we're gonna give away this week is, we made this last week on Shields Live, this little sew pillow. It's a 12 by 16 pillow cover. So this will be the gift tonight. Okay. And then there'll be a little surprise in there because I'm learning to do something with my card making, and I'm going to put something in with everything that I send out to people. So there's going to be a little gift for everybody. Okay. That wins. I'm learning something new. So I have a little gift for everybody. All right, everybody. So anyway, this is the gift. So make sure you make a comment in order to be entered in to win it at the end of the class. Okay. All right. So is everybody ready for September's table topper? Oh, was that Lynn? Oh, you're so funny with the cards. Yeah. I'm learning a lot, Lynn. All right, so let me go ahead and turn off the banner here. And let's get to sewing. So we're going to do some stitching tonight. We're going to stitch the top. We're going to piece the top tonight. And there we go. And we're going to piece our top. You like the little pillow topper? No, you don't have to be here at the end, but remember, for those of you, if you're not Cindy, remember that you need to send me your address. So if you win, you can go back and listen to the end of the video. And if you're the winner, make sure everybody, make sure if you're from away from here, make sure you send me by personal message your mailing address so I can mail it to you. So, okay. All right. So we're going to be working on the little owls tonight. So let's go ahead and let me get my camera switched over. A second here. Gonna find the right camera. Here we go. They changed the format of StreamYard, so I have to kind of look around a little bit. Everything's kind of like moved. So every time I turn it on, it seems like they've moved something else. So yeah, the little table topper, the little pillow topper was cute. We're gonna do something else on Shields Live tomorrow. We're gonna make a little ironing mat tomorrow, so that'll be fun. And then the next week will be all the new stuff from Brother. So Tim's going to be going to Brother school pretty soon. All right, so we are going to be working on our little owls here. Where did the multi-needle go? Where did the multi-needle go? I don't understand, Shannon. I have a multi-needle behind me. You mean mine? Okay, so second, I'm going to lay this up in front of me so I can see it. I have kind of a little pattern for the center, so I need to look at it so I don't mess it up. Okay. Okay, so I was just reading some of the comments. Okay, so I've got my book open here, and we're going to start out. Let's look at the fabric here real quick. For this one, you don't need a lot of fabric for any of these. No, Kathy, none of these are kits. These were all fabrics I had at home. So there were no Kimberbell fabrics actually in these little table toppers. They were before they actually had a fabric line. So there's no fabrics there's no Kimberbell fabrics in any of them. Oh yeah, it depended on where I was sitting. Shannon, it depends on where I was sitting in my room. You might be able to see it when I'm sitting at my other table. I can't remember where I was sitting last time. So, okay. Shields Live on Thursdays is at 2 p.m. Central, Carol. So tomorrow at 2 p.m. Central on the Shields Sewing Center Facebook page. And that's where it's live. So, okay. All right, so let's look at the fabrics here. So we needed some fabric for the center blocks and the corners. So I chose you need 4 different colors. So I chose this tan color. Let me pull this up a little bit. This tan color, I had kind of a rust print, this gold, and then I had this green. Now this is the only Kimberbell fabric I have in here. And this is the 4 colors I chose for my blocks. And then my corner blocks, I made them gold. Okay, so that gold color. All right. So those are the blocks that we're going to put in the center. The center is just going to be squares this time. So that makes it nice and easy to put together. All right, and then you needed some background for the owls. So I made that. The little corners, you cut a piece of fabric that is 14 inches square and then cut it in half twice. Okay. This book is a book you can purchase from shieldsewingcenter.com, and it is the Kimberbell Cuties book. This is the old original sewing pattern, and then there is a CD, and I don't have the CD on me right now, but there's a CD that has the embroidery designs. These are all pieced instead of piecing the embroidery hoops. So, okay. So this is my background for my owls, and this was a 14-inch square that I cut in half twice, to each corner to corner. So it shows it right. Does it show a picture of it? Yeah, right here. Okay, so here's the picture right here. All right, so and with these, remember, we've always put a piece of shape flex on the back. So there's shape flex on the back of these. I put that on first, and then I cut it. Okay, so I have it 14 inches square. I put my 14-inch piece of shape flex on the back because we're going to be embroidering through this. And then I cut it in twice diagonally. Okay, so that's my background for my little owls. And let's see. And then I need an inner border and binding. So my small inner border is this green color. And then I made my binding out of that as well. So here's my binding. Okay, so I made my binding in my inner border that color. And then we need an outer border. So I made that the little leaves pattern. I thought the green looked nice with my leaves in here. So this is my outer border, okay, with the leaves on it. And then I needed some backing. And I think my backings are going to be different. Yeah. Oh no, I guess I must have had 2 yards of this. So this is my backing, this kind of brown with the little swirls in it. So I think it was Artie that asked about the book. So I have the book in the store, Artie. You're close enough, you can look at it in the store. I do have it in the store. And it is, I just got it back in today. We were out. Okay, so that's the fabric for the topper. You do need to cut some fabrics also for your applique pieces. And there were quite a bit of pieces in here. So let's just talk about that briefly, and we'll review it again next week. But I have all my pieces here, and there was some bigger pieces that you needed, like on my owl, his underbody was this yellow. So I cut those 4 by 6. And I put some shape flex on the back of this. If you want to put some shape flex on the back of this, if your fabric is darker. Now, I don't know that I did on this one. Trying to feel if I did. I don't think I did actually. This is very lightweight fabric, so I could actually put some shape flex on the back of this. But my base fabric is. Oh, you know what I did though, because his little ears go up on top of the green, so I think I did put some shape flex on the back of these. I don't have it on here yet. I'll put it on, but I wrote it in my notes here. And then his wings are this gray color. And I cut those 4 by 6. And there's 4 of each one of these. Okay. And then I had the outer part of his eyes is this kind of gold color. Okay. This had a lot of appliques in it. It had like 5 appliques. So this is the outer side. And these were 3 by 4. The inside of his eyes, the next layer of his eyes was black. And those I cut 2.5 by 3.5, and then I cut the whites of his eyes, and I put Shape Flex on the back of these too because it's going to be on top of the black. I don't have it on yet, and this is 1.5 by 2.5. So each one of these, so there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fabrics that are for the owl appliques. So there was quite a lot of applique in that one. Okay. So we'll go over this again next week before we do the applique, so you remember how big they are. I just kind of, what I do is I just kind of look at each of the pieces. I pull it up kind of in my software and kind of see how big each piece needs to be. And then I just cut it out with my fabric. Okay. Would you put Shape Flex on all applique pieces? You wouldn't have to. I don't on everything. If I have a light colored fabric though that's going on top of a darker one, I usually do. So like the owl, his little ears are up on the darker green. So I think I did on this yellow because this is a very light colored fabric. It's very lightweight. So I think I did on that. And then I did on the white because I'm going to put that on top of the black. I usually put Shape Flex on the backs of things if it's kind of if it's a lighter color than and it's on top of a dark one. Okay, so that's kind of how I go by it because then it helps with the bleed through of the color. Okay, all right, so those are the applique pieces. We'll set those aside, and there we go. Move this out of the way. I'm going to get some of these pieces out of the way, and then I also had them written down here, so the sizes that I just gave you. But we'll talk about it again next week so you know what sizes they were. All right, so we're going to start out. I got to go back to the other page here, September. So we're going to start out. What does it say to do? It says to organize your 16 blocks from those 4 colors that we had, because I had the gold, the tan, the green plaid, and the rust. And I'm going to organize those in a pattern of some sort. Okay. Now, when I went to do this, I was doing this actually with some other people around. And I was really struggling with this because, you know, there's 4 of each one. And, you know, you don't really have a whole lot of space in here. So one of the gals came over and she says, Jan, if you make a little pattern, then it will be much easier to put these in and make them look, you know, like they have a little pattern to them. So what I did is I put the colors together in the middle, and then made the gold this way and the rust this way, and then filled in with the other ones. So let's lay this out so you can see what I did. I'm going to put this one up here so I can look at it. Okay. I'm going to turn it so I can see it. Okay. So we laid out the middle first. So we chose a couple of the colors to make like a center, like this. And then we did like an opposite like this in the center. So we're going to have 4 rows of 4 because there's 16 blocks. Okay. And then I wanted the gold to be up here on this corner. So one of the other gold ones. And then I wanted the other gold one to be down here. So let me move these up a little bit. Okay. So I wanted this gold to be here, and then the other one's going to be right here. Like this. So I'll move them up so we can stick them in here. So I kind of made a pattern. So if you just kind of make the pattern the way you want it, I don't know if it's going to lay in here very well, but we'll see. Okay. Got that. And then the other corners, these corners, I made them the rust. So I made this corner here and this corner here. Okay. And then we've got the other 2 colors to put in to the pattern to fill in the rest of the space. Like this. So we're going to put the green one. So I always just put the green is going to be on the right. So the green plaid is always on the right. So up here. And then I'm going to put one over here on this side because it's on the right down here. And then it's going to be right here. So that's how she showed me. This was Betty that showed me this. So thank you very much, Betty, for helping me with this because I was struggling to get it. You know, you want it to look kind of random, but you don't have that many squares. So it's hard to make it look random. And then I'm going to put the tan ones in the empty spots. So I did this. Whoops, just wonked my hand on everything here. So we're just going to kind of lay them out here. So I didn't do any pre-sewing this week. I thought, well, we'll just do this together because this is a pretty fast one. It's just squares. So, all right. So there's my 4 rows. Okay. So let's pull this up here so I can look at it. So I just kind of made a pattern, in other words. Okay. I just kind of made a pattern. All right. So now I'm going to pick these up in order. So this is my first row up here. So I'm just going to pick these up in order so I can see how I need to sew them together, and I'll just lay them over here. So here's the first row, the second row, third row. Yeah, I thought Betty was very clever. She came over and I was struggling trying to figure out how to do it. And she said, well, I just made, and she'd already made this one. So she said, well, I just kind of made a little pattern and then went from there. So, okay. So here's my 4th row. All right. So we're just going to sew these together. Give me a second here. My machine's going to move, of course. Second row, third row. I got to put these in my rows up here. There we go. Okay. It's going to move, of course, when I hit sew. It's going to move my arm out. You need a Betty too. Yeah, it's fun. Betty's a very experienced sewer, so it's very nice, or a very experienced quilter. So I like it when I have friends that are very experienced with some of this stuff. Okay, so I am going to use my Q02 again, right here. Okay, with my piecing stitch. So I just move my needle over towards the right. I have my J foot on my machine, and I have Pima cotton thread in my needle and in my bobbin. So we're going to be going this way. So this is the first block. This is the second block. So we're just going to sew these together in rows. Maybe. Can't get anything lined up today. Just been one of those days. Nothing's lined up today. All right, so we're going to sew our 1/4 inch seam for these two. Okay. Oh, don't forget, no, I've got my foot changed. Yep. Thanks for reminding me though, Denise. I appreciate it. Believe me, I would know if the embroidery foot was still on here. Yeah, I did that last night. I got ready for class kind of last night, got everything kind of set up. But I decided not to do any pre-sewing because I thought it'd be fun just to do this whole little setup here because of this layout was a little bit weird, and I liked the fact that she showed me how she kind of did a pattern, because you've only got 16 squares and there's only 4 colors, so it's hard to make it look random. So I was trying to make it look random. Making things random is very difficult. So here's our first row. Okay, you got to put your glasses on. Okay, so here's our first row. Okay, so we'll lay this up here out of our way. So here's our first row. And then the second row is right here. So we're going to sew these together same way. So do these. Remember to drop your needle. That's another one of my grandma's tricks. We've talked about the corner trick that grandma gave me, but she also told me to drop your needle into your fabric before you start to sew. Because if you don't, you're going to unthread your needle all the time. It's very frustrating to have to rethread your machine every 5 minutes. And of course, she was sewing on a 1920s Franklin treadle machine. So if you didn't drop your needle down in your fabric on that, man, I'll tell you what, nothing would happen. No, I do not put shape flex on these squares because these are going to be just these are going to be quilted. So no, I do not put shape flex. I just do it in the corners because the corners are where the embroidery is going to be. Where do you purchase my Pima cotton? Okay, so my Pima cotton thread, I love it. I always bought it from Craftsy. And Craftsy no longer carries any physical product. And then I was buying it from Hobby Lobby. And guess what? Hobby Lobby just recently discontinued it. So now I have a lot because some friends gave me some for Christmas. so I have a lot of the Pima cotton. It's very hard to find. I mean, Aurifil is a fine thread. So if you have Aurifil, that is fine. I just like this because this thread is not so soft and it doesn't curl and unthread so easy. I struggle with Aurifil because it comes unthreaded all the time and it drives me crazy. So I started using this, and this is some of my Craftsy thread. But if you look up Pima cotton online, you might be able to find some spools of it. Okay, so this is our third row. And remember, drop your needle before you start. I'm using kind of a off-white for this because most of the fabrics are kind of off-white. All right, so here's my third one, my third row. So I'll put that back up here. And then here's our fourth row. So hopefully I didn't get them mixed up. We'll see. So here's the fourth row. For some reason, I can't get anything to line up today. There we go. It's kind of a busy day today. I had a bunch of little things going on. So tomorrow's Shields Live, so we'll do another fun little project tomorrow. I haven't made that little hoop, the little in the hoop mat for a long time, so you never know what's going to happen tomorrow because Jan hasn't made that little project for a while. So we'll see how, hopefully it goes okay. We'll see. Whoops. I got a little off on that one, didn't I? Shall we go back and try that again? Got a little crooked. So we'll see how we do tomorrow. It's a fun little project. I had to use a machine at the store because I realized I had done it with a Disney character. And I just like Disney, and the fabric I had it all cut out, ready to go, and my fabric was like kind of Disney appropriate. And I got to the store and I thought, oh shoot, I don't have a Disney machine here, so we punted. I found one. Oh, you can't find it, Cindy? I'll see what I can find to send to you. Okay, so here are our four. Yeah, I was so disappointed when Hobby Lobby discontinued it because it's really nice thread. And I really liked the Craftsy too, because I had like a couple of nice sets from Craftsy and really good thread. I mean, and like I said, Aurifil is great. And some people don't have problems with it. I use my cutter. You notice that I was using my cutter. And I think it's because I use my cutter a lot, and I do, and I don't chain piece. I'm not a really experienced piecer, so I don't chain piece much, and so I use my cutter a lot, and it likes to unthread. Okay, so we got our 4 rows here, and now I need to iron my seams. So when I iron my seams, I don't know if this is right or not, but this is the way I've always done it. I iron my odd rows seams to the left and my even rows to the right. Okay, I've just always done it that way so that then my little seams will nest nicely. Okay, so I'm going to put these in order here so I remember what they are. Here's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then I'm going to run over here and I'm going to put my first and third row and to the left, and I'm going to do my second and fourth row to the right. Okay, you started using it since, oh, okay. You mean the Pima cotton or ironing my rows? All right, so I got the first row. Here's the first row. Second row is going to be to the right. Third row's to the left. Fourth row's to the right. All right. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So hopefully we got it right. I'm going to tip my table topper here so I can look at it again. Make sure I got it right. Otherwise I'll mess up. Okay. All right, so we got this one and then this one. I think I messed it up already, guys. I'm always getting them out of order. This is my hardest part. Okay, so one, see, I think I picked them up wrong. Or I got them tipped this way. Maybe they go this way, this way. Okay, let me get my table topper in front of me. Okay, so here's the first one. And then this is the second one, goes this way. I think I flipped them all over. So here we go. So it goes like this. Okay, so here's the second row. Yeah, that's right. Second row is like this. So we're going to flip this one over. Hopefully I got things going the right way here. It is. I don't know if it's the right way to do it, but that's something that I could remember. You know, when I started reading quilting books and learning how to do some piecing and stuff, you know, it didn't really tell you. It just said to iron your seams in the opposite directions. They didn't really give you specifics. And I thought, okay, well, I have to figure this out then. So that's how I ended up doing it. All right, so we'll get this one. This is when I always get my rows mixed up. So you guys will have to help me. If you see me doing something wrong, let me know. I'm been known to sew them together like upside down or something. So, all right, so here's the first two rows. Still using my piecing stitch. Whoops, I just unthreaded my needle though. And remember to keep your also your thread under your foot and drop your needle. So if you do those two things, normally the machine does not come unthreaded. Okay, like that. And you notice when my foot's going up, I have my pivot feature on my machine. I'll show you where that is on the machine. I love the pivot feature because then when I let up on the gas, the needle goes down and my foot goes up. So it makes it easier. Okay. So I'm still using Q02 on the machine. We got our first two rows together. So let's see if I got them together correctly. Right, so cut that. Got my little pin cushion down here by me. So everything's in my little drawers next to me. So, all right, so let's see. This goes like this. So these are the first two rows like this. And then the third row is going to be this one like this. So this is going to flip up this way. So I did get them ironed correctly. So I think we're going to do okay. All right. See if we can get this organized here. I like to put a pin on both sides of my seam because otherwise, I tell you, everything scoots on me. So I've always put a pin on one pin on each side. And you know, these magic pins that I use, we've talked about these many times. They do actually have some sort of a fork pin. I think they call it a fork pin that has two tines, you know, 2 points and one top. So that if you are doing what I'm doing, then you don't only have to use one pin. So I need to try some of those. I think they call them fork pins. Has anybody got those? I know Magic Pins makes them. All right, so here we're going to do the third row. In fact, I just got some of these pins in today too. We were out of these. I had one pack left, I think. So I got some of these in today. I'm really liking the ones with the flat heads now. Oh, did I say where I purchased my fabric? Well, to be quite honest, most of this came from Walmart in Anamosa. And I know that the little plaid, the green plaid, is a Kimberbell fabric. And the little, these little leaves, I got at Joann's. I know I got these at Joann's. But I think the rest of it came from Walmart, except for this piece, the plaid. That one that's a Kimberbell fabric. I was just using scraps. Okay, So let's say this is the center then. We got the center done. And then we need this one to go this way. So this is going to go this way. Okay. So yeah, so when I learned to do this, I had to come up with a way that I could remember, you know, which way to turn my seams. And I just did the every other, you know, odd rows were to the left, even rows were to the right. Just kept me, you know, going the same way each time. And that's how I remember it. I kind of learned to piece and stuff by reading patterns and I read a lot of books. So basic quilting books and that kind of stuff. So I mean, I know how to sew. I've been sewing since I was a little girl, but I'd never quilted. My grandmother didn't quilt, and neither did my mother. So you know, I was never around quilters at all until I started working at Shield Sewing Center, because then a lot of my friends quilted. And they said, "Oh, Jan, you'll really like it." So it kind of got me hooked. I don't piece that much, but I do like it. I like to sew. All right, so oops, this is our fourth one, and I'm still using Q02. Second here, I got to get these lined up again. All right, so this one doesn't have too many seams, so I'll probably just, it doesn't matter which way these seams go, so you can just press them to the side. Sometimes I open these up if there's quite a few seams, but this one doesn't have that many. So I'm just going to press these one way or the other, but there's our center. Look at there. See, it has that cute little pattern to it. So thank you, Betty, for helping me with that. I appreciate it. So there's my little center. And this is going to be about 11 inches. Let's see. Yep, 11 inches. So it should be about 11 inches. If you were accurate with your 1/4 inch seam, you should be at right at 11 inches. So let me press this, and then we're going to move on to the borders. All right, let's see how close we got. Hopefully we got pretty close here. Looks pretty good. Yep. So I think we're good. So here's my center. That was a nice, easy one, wasn't it? Yeah, I thought, yeah, I know that all of these, this is Kimberbell. The rest of these all came from Walmart, of these. And then I know that I got the leaves at Joann's. So these are all just kind of fabrics they always have at Walmart. Most of these were just ones that they normally have. So, and I had most of these I had all of these in my stash. I think I might have bought the backing fabric. I bought a yard of it so I could do the backing because I liked that kind of swirl backing that was on it. So, okay. So there's our center. So now we're going to work on borders. So the borders are the green. Find the borders. Oh, I got them all wrinkly now. So we need 2 that are 11 inches, and then there was 2 that were 13, and they're 1.5 inches wide. Okay. All right. So we're going to put the 2 11-inch ones on first. Thanks, Carol. Yeah, when we started these, I was really nervous about piecing these because you know I don't piece that much, so I was very nervous that first couple of classes. But it's getting easier now. Some of these, like this one's a nice easy one, and there's a couple. The ones that I think are the hardest are those 9 patches because I have a really hard time with those. And there's another 9 patch coming up, just so you know. There's a 9 patch for November. And next month is what was the October one? It's just squares again. So we'll just do squares next month. That's always nice. And then the December one was actually just a 9 patch. Just had 9 blocks in the center. So that was nice. Nice, easy one. I got that one done really quick. And then the January one was actually kind of hard. January and February were the 2 hardest ones. They were like you had a snowball thing. So, you know, doing snowballs is a little different. So like February's, if you remember, we did the little hearts and you kind of snowball the corners. So you have to be careful that you're keeping everything the right size. So that one was, those were a little harder, I thought. And then the January one has snowball blocks. So you snowball all 4 corners. So that one we'll do in December. All right. So we're going to put our borders on. Still doing my 1/4 inch seam here. I like to put a pin where the little seam is so that it doesn't flip over on me. You can't seem to get started on them, Cindy? They are really fun and they do go very quickly. I like doing the quilting this way because it makes it so much easier to quilt them. So they go together really quickly. Because when I first wanted to do these, you know, I hadn't done much with the like clear blue tiles and stuff, and I was trying to figure out how to quilt them easily in the embroidery machine because I just, you know, I could put them on my long arm, but they're kind of small, and it seems like a lot of work to get them on the long arm. You know, so I like quilting around my machine, on the embroidery machine. But they are really fun, and I've really enjoyed doing these a lot. I hope you guys have enjoyed them too. All right, so there's our 2 first borders. I'm going to go press these really quick. Got my 2 13-inch borders here to put on then. Just a second here. Got all my pins. Looks like I got all these strings hanging out all over the place too. All right, so I'll go press these. I'm going to press these outward towards the border, okay? All right. So there's the first 2. I press those outward towards the board. So then we're going to do, oops, second here, I got a big string hanging out here. We'll get that. All right, so now we're going to put the 13-inch ones on the other 2 sides. I just thought this one turned out really cute. These have been fun. I've really enjoyed them. Gave me a chance to do a lot of sewing. I just don't get to sew that much. I'm always embroidering, so it's kind of fun to get to sew. Oh no, Cindy, that's terrible. I hope you're doing better, and I hope it gets better so you can sew. It is hard to sew if your arms or your hands don't work very well, or if it hurts. Makes it hard to sew, doesn't it? All right, so we're going to turn this around and get the other side here. I had a hard time a couple years ago. I hurt my knee, and I think I tore the meniscus in my knee. And they do heal, but it took a very long time. And you know, it was my sewing machine driving leg, and man, that knee hurt if I sewed too long because then my knee hurt so bad. Oh, well, you know what? You know who said they use their seam ripper? Oh, Mary. Well, you know, Mary, I am very well acquainted with my seam ripper. I rip a lot. Actually, I've done these before, so I'm a little more confident that I'm not going to have to rip. But you haven't seen me do them the first time. Sometimes I do a fair amount of ripping. Always have. So I feel a little more confident now because I've done this project once. I like it when I have done it once, you know, before I actually do the live. So tomorrow when we do the little hoop mat, like I said, I haven't made that for a while. So, you know, you never know what might happen. We might have a couple of oopsies. You never know. So we'll see how it goes. I know how to do it, but it's been a while since I've made one. All right. This is looking good. I like this green. This green goes with a lot of different things. They had like 2 or 3 different colors with the same kind of print, and it was gold, and the gold and the green are both kind of the same print. But I didn't have a lot of fall colors, so I think I had to go buy a couple. Oh, you can't wait for the ironing mat. It is very handy to have those. So I use it when if I'm doing like applique in the hoop. So that's what it fits under the hoop really nicely. And it's a free pattern. So those of you who are here tomorrow, the pattern is free. It's the link to it is in the Dropbox, our Dropbox for the sewing side. So, and then I put the link in the listing of the class, and it will, if you're going to watch it on YouTube, it'll be in the YouTube description under the video. So you can get the free design. It's a design I made several years ago. So we're going to do Mickey Mouse tomorrow. I like Mickey on mine just because I still had red polka dot fabric. So I thought, well, we'll just do Mickey. But then I realized I had to get this machine that had Mickey Mouse in it. Yep, applique works great. And you can make different sizes. The one I made is kind of a medium size. So if you need a bigger one, you can always make it a bigger one. I used it. I made it before when I wanted something in roughly a 6x10 hoop. So that's the size it fits in. So, all right. So there's our center with our borders. Isn't that pretty? And we go press those out, and then we'll get ready to do the corners here. So. All right. So there is the center. So now we're ready for those corners again. So let's see. Let's start with these sides. And I'm going to put a pin. I'm going to fold these in half so I can put a pin in here. So I know where the center of this is. I wouldn't have to put a pin, but it just helps me to get it lined up quicker. So we'll put a pin here. A pin here. You can use your blocks too. That helps if it's easier for you, but I like to put a pin in, then I don't make them out. I don't mess up. So I like to put the pin in there to help me. And then we're going to do the same thing with our triangles. All right, whoops. If I can get this opened up, there we go. And then our corners are going to be those kind of off-white, kind of winter white pieces. So I'm going to fold these in half, the long side. Okay, I'm going to fold it in half so I know where the center of that is. And I'll mark that. And then we'll put it on. These turn out really cute. Once you kind of get the hang of the pattern, it goes easier too. But those, I still have trouble with those. Disappearing 9 patches. I think it's just because, you're trying to put everything back in and make it look kind of random. And, making things look random is very hard. So like I said before, so I think that randomness is the hardest part of it. So we have a couple more, 1 or 2 more of those to do yet. I think there's one. I know it's November is. Let's see. October was squares. November is the disappearing 9 patch. December is just a big 9 patch in the center. And then January is the snowball blocks. Okay, so there's one side. We'll do this side. And also remember the shape flex on the back of these corners. I got to make sure I get it right side up. That would be good, wouldn't it? Shape flex isn't the prettiest fabric, so it's kind of, you want to make sure we get the right one. Make sure I got the right side here. Right sides together. All right, so we'll put this on this side. Okay. And I like to put a pin where that little seam is so it kind of keeps it from flipping over. There. But it feels good because I got all the whole books done. I got all of them done, at least for the first time. I have some more to make, obviously, but I had fun. Oh, you like to do the disappearing 9 patch? I just have such a time with trying to get them put back together again. I don't have any trouble with the 9-patch part, but then you have to cut them, which is not hard. But then you're trying not to put things in a spot that doesn't look right. So again, that random thing. Yeah, so that I think those have been the hardest ones for me. I kind of like I like pinwheels. So a lot, a couple of the blocks we did earlier had pinwheels, so I like those. Some people don't like to do the ones with the triangles in them. I like triangles. A lot of the quilts I've done have had lots of triangles in them. You got to take your time so you don't lose your corners and stuff, All right, we're going to get this one. Oops, make sure this one's lined up here. But I just love to sit and sew. So that's why these have been fun. We've actually done a lot of sewing this year. Sometimes lately we've just been doing, mostly embroidery. So these have been fun because we've been doing a lot of sewing this year. And I love the quilting. So the quilting on this one was, let me see what I used. I just used the swirls from the essentials pack, from the actual Clear Blue Tiles pack. That's what I used on this one. There are a couple of autumn ones, and I did use the autumn one on the November one. I noticed it had leaves and stuff on it. It was very pretty. And they also have one with pumpkins. I think there's a second autumn one now that just came out that has pumpkins on it. So this one was just the swirl pattern. So I didn't use the pumpkins or the leaves on this one, but I did on the November one. And then I think I used a Halloween one on the October one. Because I think that there's a Halloween one in the Clear Blue Tiles. Okay, so there's those two. So let me get these pins out here. And these I'm also going to press towards, I'm going to press the seams towards the border. So I'm going to turn it so that it goes towards the border. Okay. As Jenny says, press to the dark side. So I'm going to press them in towards the border. Okay, so let me go get that and then we'll put the other two on. All right. Starting to look pretty good. All right, so I press those in like that so that the seam and the seam are both pressed in towards the green. Okay, so now I'm going to grab my scissors here and I'm just going to, oops, I got a big long string there. I'm going to take these little corners off down here just so they don't get in my way. It's easier to line it up. So I'm just going to trim those off. You could use your rotary cutter if you want to. I usually just use my scissors. Trim all the little corners. Makes it easier to get the flat side lined up there. Okay. Then I'm going to fold these in half. Oh, if you're going to the 15-year, I know I think it's been 15 years, hasn't it, for Missouri Star. I think they're having is it September that the birthday bash is? I think it's in August or September. September, I thought. All right, so we're going to get this lined up. I'm going to fold it in half and make our little pin in. You like my fabric? September? Yeah, I thought it was in September. All right. But like I said, on all of these, my goal was to make all of these out of my stash. And I had to buy a little bit of backing and a little bit of binding because I didn't have enough to make 2 of each. So, I'm making 2 of each one. So I did have to buy just a little bit of like yardage for the backs. If I didn't have something that was appropriate, like one of these I had enough, I think, but a couple of them I've had to do like one color on the back of one and one on another. So, but I've been trying to use my stash for these. So it's been nice. I've done pretty well with that. All right, so we're going to put this one on now. Get them lined up. See if I can get my seam here. This one I got a little crazy with my shape flex, looks like. Well, I was hoping to go to the state fair on Sunday, but now it sounds like it says 60% chance of rain. I don't know that I really want to get out there and like get soaked all day, so we don't know. I think the state fair starts tomorrow. Is it? Well, the parade I think was tonight. All right, so we're going to take this one and do the same thing. Make sure I got it right set up. Yep. Fold these in half again. Yeah, I have really good seam rippers. We were talking about seam ripping. I have really good seam rippers. I have a couple of them that are really sharp. So, yep, I have used them many times. I've done a couple of videos now for some of the pillows that I just did the project and videoed, and I'd never done it before. So you never know what's going to happen with those, you know. If I take a rain jacket, it won't rain. That's true. I've been out there lots of times when it was rainy and pouring, but I don't know if I want to go. I don't know if I want to go and get wet this time, but we'll see. My friend also got exposed to COVID, so she may not be able to go. So it depends on if she gets sick or not. All right. Get these. And over to here. So look at this one. I'm putting a pin where those little seams are. So I'm going to flip. And oh, do we get them both? Yep, got them both. Okay, so now we're going to sew these on. And then I have to go get the squaring up. So you do have to kind of square these up because they kind of sometimes with that bias, you know, you're kind of on a bias there, and sometimes you have to kind of get these squared up a little bit. So I'm still doing my piecing stitch, my Q02 piecing stitch. All right, a second here. I've been out to the fair for quite a while. I mean, sometimes it's so hot during the fair out there that I just can't stand the heat. I'm not very good with heat anymore, so it's more fun to be home in the air conditioning. All right. Whoops, a second here. I'm going to drive over a pin. We don't want to do that. Every now and then I've actually sewn through the little plastic heads of these. It's like, whoopsie. Whoops. I can't believe I did that, but I have a couple times. All right. So there's that. So I'm going to do the same thing with these. I'm going to press them towards the border so that the seam is towards the border. And then I'm going to do my squaring on these. So when I square them, what I like to do is put my ruler, so when I open this up, you can see it better. Make sure I got them all pins out of there. I like to put the ruler up here on my point, you know where this point is. And you want a 1/4 of an inch above your point because you want to have your full seam allowance in there so you don't mess up and lose your point. Okay, so I'm basically putting my 1/4 inch line along this and lining it up on my mat, and then I use that to help me keep it straight. Okay. No, I've never done anything for the fair. I'm not a big. I did when I was a kid for the county fair, but I never have done anything since I've been an adult. All right, so we're going to get this pressed first, and then I'm going to square it up real quick. And we'll be ready for the borders already. Yeah. This one's being contrary. these corners can be a little bit of a problem. You got to kind of make sure you're not stretching them. All right, this looks good. All right, so now I'm going to square these up. I'm laying my ruler on the tip of my corners here. And I use the mat lines to help me line it up, to keep it straight. Somebody told me I need to have a square ruler. I think I have one, but I've never really used it. All right, there's my 1/4 inch. This one's pretty good, so. Here, I think it's just a little off yet. All right, that one looks pretty good. And then what I do is I do the top and then I do the bottom so that I don't forget which sides I've done. I flipped it over and now I'm going to do the bottom, then we'll do the sides. That way I don't forget what I've done. All right, this one looks pretty good. All right, so now I'm doing the sides. Looks pretty straight, so hopefully I'm doing okay here. Gosh, this one looks pretty straight. I'll flip it over and do the other side. All right, I think that's pretty good. Most of my table toppers have been just a little bit larger than what they say. So most of them have been just a little bit over what they say they're supposed to. So, all right, so there's my middle. I think that looks good. So now let's do this. We have to do the borders. So let's do the other borders, the wider ones. Find my squares. So let's do 2 of the borders here. So these are going to be the leaves. All right. So we'll do these. Hey, yours have been just a little bit too. Mine are just a little, whoops, helps Jan if you put right sides together. Let's do the right sides together. I think that mine have been about 1/4 of an inch, ended up being 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch longer than they said. So, but I think it's, I don't know, some of their measurements, like remember the one, was it July that was so much smaller, and the sizes that they were saying to square up to, there was just no way it was ever going to square up correctly. So I did the best I could with that one, and it did turn out pretty good. I liked the July one. All right, so let's get this one lined up. Turn it over and do the other side. Oop, just poked myself with the pen. There's another one. Do this one. Yeah, July was a little different. It was a smaller one to begin with, but the whole thing was just a little weird because the border pieces were a little, the measurements were a little short. And I even went to their website thinking there might be some like fixes or something, but I didn't notice anything for those. But we got it figured out. I just cut my borders a little bit bigger. All right, let's see here. Let me get these lined up here. People are still coming in. Hello, everybody. And remember, you can watch this on YouTube. If you missed, if you came in late, if you came in late, you can watch this on YouTube. It'll be about an hour until I get it up there, because I have to download it from Facebook and upload it to YouTube. So, okay. So here's those two boards. Oops, second here. I don't want to lose these. Still got our Q02. Whoops. Let's see here. Must have pulled the pin out. I did. Get this one lined up. There we go. All lined up. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Okay. I'm gonna get caught on my. I don't take my embroidery unit off so often when I piece. So sometimes I get caught on the little embroidery hoop. Where you put your embroidery hoop in. It likes to catch on that little lever. All right, so hopefully we didn't cut off any corners. We'll take a look at it when we get there. Has to look good because this is going to Judy. All right, so there's that one. Let's see how we did on our corner here. Hopefully we don't have to fix anything. We'll look. Ooh, it looks pretty good. See, I didn't cut it off. I can still see a point, so we're doing good. Let's go over the other side here. Okay. All right. I love these leaves. I can't remember. I got this for another project. I think it was a project we did on class. On Sew Along with Jan here. I think it was the, I know what it was. It was the Janine Babish. It's hanging above me, but I have a different fabric on this one. It was my With a Grateful Heart, Give Thanks banner. That's what I got this for. So I think the one in the class I used this fabric. So I had a little bit left. And the one I have hanging here is out of a plaid fabric that I had instead. All right, let's see how we did here. Before I stab myself with the pins. All right. Well, this one I'm a little off, so I think I got a little shy there in the corner. I think actually I can see my dip, so I think I'm gonna give this a little. We're gonna check this. I got a little scant, too scant on that corner there, so we'll go over that again. There we go. I think I straightened that out a little bit. There we go. No, there's not a 1/4 of an inch from the point to the border. The point should come, your border should come right up and make your point right here. So there should be a 1/4 of an inch, to sew in. But I got a little bit scant in that. I kind of bowed out a little bit, so I just went in and re-sewed it, and that looks much better. Okay, so let's see this one. I think this one was fine too. And I'll go press these. I think this one was fine too. Yep, this one looks good too. Okay. So I'll go and press these, and then we'll put the last two board. We have to put the corner blocks on the next ones. All right. There's the first two. I like the leaves on there. It was pretty. Yeah, so you want your points to come right up to your border like that. So there's going to be a 1/4 inch beyond the point. So when I trim it, I lay my ruler on the point right here, and then I'm on my 1/4 inch line, and then I trim it off so that I know I have my full 1/4 inch seam right here. Sometimes it's a little bit over a 1/4 of an inch there. So, okay. So now let's put on, let me put this in my lap for a second, and we'll put on our corner blocks. So the corner blocks in this was going to be my gold. So I'm going to put my corner blocks on these. Yeah, I like the gold. I like the fall stuff. Hi, Anna. All right, so we'll get these. Whoops, second here. I'm a little off here. Okay, so I am going to tie these blocks off a little bit because when I'm on the outside edge, I kind of like to tie my outside borders. And I'm just using the polka dot button, the tie off button, so that I'm not going backwards. You see, I'm not going back and forth and doing a tacking stitch. So I'm using this button right here instead, and it just does a tie off in place. But I like that one on the borders because then you know, my borders don't come unsewn when I'm trying to get it ready to quilt it and everything. All right, so we'll get this. Then I'll have to quilt this week. This weekend, maybe I can do it. Depends on if I go to the fair on Sunday or not. All right, so there's those two, and then here's my other one. Let's get the blocks on here. My gold. Yeah, I really like the colors on this one. The hardest thing for these for me was picking out the fabric because you know you kind of had. I just was trying, like I said, I was trying to use what I had at home, and you know so I had to pull, like I pulled a whole gob of fabric, and just kind of looked at it together. You know, I'd pick anything that looked fallish and just take it to, you know, take it and look at it. So yes, the Iowa State Fair is in Des Moines. Yep, Des Moines about an hour and a half from here. So it's not a bad drive. Fairgrounds is kind of on this end of town, so you know, on the east end of town. All right, so we got our blocks on. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to press these, and actually I could just do these I'll finger press these. I like to finger press that. I like to press the seams in towards the border, so that way when I go to put the other, you know, my little seams will match up then. So we'll press the seams in towards the border here. I'll just finger press these so I don't have to get up again. Like this. Yeah, I thought the fabric turned out pretty good. I wasn't sure about the Christmas, but actually after I got it done, and I was a little unsure about my November one, but I like the fabric now. It's hard to tell when you don't have it sewn together, you know. So, all right, so let's put these on. So we're going to match up our little seams over here. There are little seams matched up. But you know, if you have that, it's kind of nice to use the stuff you have at home. You know, I had so much fabric. I don't have like gobs of fabric, but I do have quite a bit. And I thought, well, you know, can't I just use what I've got? And I had to buy a few pieces, but not too much. Yeah, I kind of like aren't the leaves pretty? They're kind of soft, but they have nice fall colors. Okay, so I'm trying to get this lined up here in the middle. Sure I get my center there. Yeah, they often have like a couple of really neat buildings out at the fair, and they have some, you know, there's always lots of fabric stuff, or a lot of, you know, quilts and stuff. No, the fabric, the border fabric, no, I think I got it. It's probably been almost 2 years ago though. I bet it'll be 2 years in October that I got it, because I know I used it for a September or October class a couple years ago. But that one was from Joann's, I know. All right, so let's get this one. Let's turn this one in. Whoop, get it in here. Line up our little corners here. Yeah, I didn't have much left of it. I had just enough to do the 4 borders, and that's about all I had left of it. And now I'm kind of going through my scrap bucket and kind of purging some of those fabrics out, because my friend Judy has a small quilt group that gets together, and they make quilts for charity, and they make a lot of scrap quilts. So I try to, you know, whenever I have scraps that I want to get rid of, I make sure I give it to her, and then they make quilts out of them for charity. And Judy does all the long arming, so I think she said she had just long arm. I believe she said 57. She just did number 57 for charity. That was just for charity. She's quilted, I think, 80 some quilts this year already. This is only August, and she's done, I think, 80 some quilts, she said. But I think it was 57 or 58 for charity. All right, so we're going to do these, and I'm going to tie off on the ends on these too, so that my borders don't come off. Drop my needle, take a couple stitches, and tie off. Yeah, that's the hardest thing about these, I think, is just figuring out the fabric, because Kimberbell has a tendency to use quite a few fabrics in all their stuff. So, you know, there was quite a few fabrics in all of these, and so you had to kind of find enough stuff that went together, you know, and I was trying to use my stash, so I did pretty well. It was nice to get rid of a lot of fabrics, and I don't have a ton of fall fabric, so this one was a little hard, but I did have all of these. I didn't have to buy anything except maybe the backing. I might have bought the backing for one of them. And sometimes I've had to buy binding if I don't have enough binding to do 2 of them. But when I have to do 2, you know, sometimes I have to. And not all of them are exactly the same. All right, we're just about there. So we're going to tie off on this end. Here we go. All right, let's see how we did on our corner here before we go on any further. Ooh, I did pretty well. See, I didn't cut it off. That's always a good sign. All right, I'll pull these out so I won't stab myself. And then we'll turn it over this way. Okay. Oops, got to get my thread under my foot. It'll unthread for sure. Now I noticed that even my Pima cotton is a little bit curly when it's humid. You know, it's more humid this time of year, so I noticed that my thread is a little curlier. So it doesn't unthread a little bit, even this, but not like the Orfil. The Orfil is very, very soft, and it's great thread, but it just unthreads a lot. Depends on how much you want to. If you chain piece, you probably don't notice it. But I just don't chain piece really. All right. Getting about to our bump here, so hopefully I got everything lined up. We'll see. Down to the end here. Oh my gosh, this is going to be so cute. This was a fun one to do. The owls do take a while, so it takes about an hour to do each corner, just so you know. I mean, the owls, there's a lot of pieces. There's just a lot of applique, so there's a lot of pieces. All right, so we're going to tie off at the other end here. All right, get the pins out. See how we did on this center here. Ouch, I just stuck myself. These are so sharp. I love these pins, but they are sharp. Okay, that looks pretty good. What do you think? So I'm going to go, let me go press this and then you can see the whole thing. I'm pressing the border or the seam outward. Towards border. Woo, it's hot. This iron gets very hot. Has lots of steam. All right. There is our topper. I think that's going to be pretty with the little, can't wait to do the embroidery next week. So there's our little owls that we're going to put in there. And I just did some different, these colors, none of these were actually in the topper. I just picked some other yellows and they did the little wings in gray. And I just thought I thought it turned out really cute. Yeah, I like owls. I like the little owls. So he's very cute. So I did, but these do take a little while because there's a lot of pieces to them. So he has 5 appliques, so it does take a little while to do them. So, all right. So there is our topper, and I will do the quilting. So remember that the quilting video is linked in the description of the video. So you can, if you need to watch the Kimberbell Cutie video for the quilting, or some of you may have watched it a few times and you're doing great with your Kimberbell, your clear blue tiles. So I've been doing mine with the clear blue tiles, and then we're going to do the embroidery through the topper. So here's what it looks like on the back. Okay, so we're going to do that next week. Okay, so I get to move to the front of the class. Thank you, Carol. So yeah, that turned out good. I like that. I liked the colors of this one too. So this one took me a while because I had a really hard time picking this. This was the one I wasn't sure. Yes, I quilt before I embroider. So the quilting video is in the description of this video. So I'll make sure it's there so you can go to that video, and I've used the clear blue tiles to quilt this. I am not going to cut the pieces with the scan and cut. I am going to do these in the hoop. They are actually very simple shapes, and I like to use my scan and cut for applique, but to me, it takes me longer than it does just to trim them in the hoop. So no, I will not be using the scan and cut this time. I like to use the scan and cut for very intricate pieces like lettering, but for these they're pretty simple. So I'm just going to trim them in the hoop. So, okay. All right. So now I will do my quilting this weekend, and we'll be ready for next week's class to do the corners. All right. So the second here, we'll switch the cameras back, and now we need to have a drawing. Has everybody been commenting? Everybody's been doing a very good job of commenting. Get my camera switched over here. And my microphone so you can hear me better. Okay. All right. So this week's prize is going to be the little sew pillow cover. And we did this on Shields Live last Thursday. And this goes in a 12 by 16 pillow form. A pillow form goes inside. So you should easily be able to find that. So this is going to be the prize this week. And I've got some really pretty fall prizes. So starting next week, we'll start doing some fall ones. Okay. So, and you'll also have another little surprise of something I'm learning to do. So there'll be something else in the little package also. But I got to get my tablet here. All right. So if you're away from here and you need to, if you win, you need to personal message me through Facebook, through Messenger, your address, your name and address so that I can mail it to you. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to randomly pick a name here. I'm going to put my name on it. Okay. Let's see here. Got to put my finger down, and it says Denise Offmuth. Is it Offmuth? Offmuth? Denise? AUFMUTH. Is that how you say it? Offmuth? All right, so Denise, you have won the pillow topper. So make sure you personal message me your address so that I can send this to you and your other little surprise as well. So congratulations, Denise. I've got some really nice fall things. I had a bunch of little fall things, and so we'll do some fall things starting probably next week. So, all righty. So our first Wednesday night, thank you so much for joining me. A bunch of you came and found me on Wednesday night. And I will be getting the video up on YouTube if you need to go back and watch it again. It's easier to find it on YouTube. And I will be doing that within an hour or so. I'll get it done. And then I will see you next Wednesday at 7 o'clock, and we will do the embroidery on our table topper. So thanks, everybody. Have a great, and tomorrow, come join me tomorrow for Shields Live. We're going to do another fun sewing project. So that'll be on the Shields Sewing Center's Facebook page. So Shields Live. So come see me tomorrow at 2 p.m. Central for that. And then we will make another cute little project there, and you get a free design. So, okay. So thanks, everybody. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.